Are we live?
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, welcome. I'm Worth Playboy.
And I'm Bunny.
And tonight is the Saturday night. Have a drink with us.
Have a drink with us.
And ask us anything format. So we've never done this before.
No.
We've done it. We'd be out and we would, text up and get on Twitter and say, hey, ask us anything. But this is the first time we've ever done it like live video and invited people in. If anyone,
I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, if anyone is inclined to ask us anything, we had some of our most common questions prepared because we know people are kind of like shy sometimes about what they may want to ask, and sometimes you need to kind of start thinking about what you may want to ask.
Yeah. Well, and we also respect that not everybody wants to join on video. That's cool. We're taking questions in the DMs. There's also, in the chat. There's also, if you want to join in the video as a studio guest, if you will get into the description, it's the first link as well as the first link in the chat box. So I'm excited about that. I think it's just going to be a fun, relaxed night.
Do we have any questions right now? Because I can't see the screen.
No. We don't have any questions yet, but
okay,
we'll start getting some. And first of all, we need to have a toast to you, baby. You sexy beast.
Get this party started.
Ah, yes.
And one of the most, you guys, if you're a little bit more advanced, you may be surprised at the very basic questions, but the basics, it's kind of like going into the military. You have to go to basic training.
Yeah. So
you can do the more advanced stuff. But everyone goes to basic training.
Yeah.
And game is not much different.
It's not.
I spent the first 2 years, make no mistake, I was like going out and applying it, but the first couple months, I'm just learning the lingo.
Yeah.
I would read Chateau Artiste and I'd come across a word
there's
alpha and
a
beta.
whole other terminology just in
red pill and in game. And I'd have to just stop and go look the word up.
Yeah.
And try to figure out what it means. So a lot of the stuff is basics. Huh?
We have our first question.
Well, we won't waste any time, but
I think that applies.
Yeah, make no mistake. I know it sounds so cheesy, but there's no dumb questions because everybody starts at the beginning.
Yeah.
And the most common questions I do get are very basic, but they matter because when you can get the basics down pretty quick, then you kind of know the basics of what maybe more important, what not to do. You're going to close more girls.
Absolutely.
And then you start moving faster. So a lot of it's like hiring a coach, or having a training partner. It's somebody to work with you, that can kind of keep an eye on you and show you the ins and outs.
It goes a long way.
It does go a long way.
It goes a long way. Okay. I'm so excited for our first question. Ian asks, I don't know why I'm trying to do this with my left hand right now. What is your opinion on cold approach pickup on the street? Too weird or is it cool? That's a good question. And thank you for being our first.
Yeah. And it's in the US, I think it would be very difficult.
Yeah.
It all comes down to environment. Troy Francis.
Yeah.
That's who I would refer to, and you obviously are interested in day game. But the guys that are working a pedestrian area and stopping girls on the street, it's very specific. It tends to be Europe.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, London,
there's Amsterdam.
Yeah, it just really depends on your environment. But what's interesting is, I've worked with a day gamer that's in Austin of all, and he goes to a mall, and there's a couple places he knows,
which is pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's 3 or 4 guys, and they all know each other, and a couple of the big guys have passed through Austin. And what's interesting, if you take a guy who does day game and put him online or put him in social circle, they just crush it.
Yeah.
They just kill because they're so comfortable doing what they're doing. But what I realized after a few years was guys who do day game, it's the hunt.
Yeah.
The hunt. The hunt.
We've seen that over and over.
Yeah. Could they go online and close faster? Yes. Could they Could they work social circle game? Yes. But the key is they enjoy the hunt.
It's true.
You know, I think it would be difficult in the US, maybe New York City, maybe not.
Major metropolitan areas
Yeah.
that have at least walkable spots,
Right.
like walkable hot spots. Absolutely. I think that's where, if you want to do cold approach in the US, you have to focus your efforts there.
Again, but the skill set that you learn, you know, just from cold approach, I mean, it works with nearly everything, every type of game you want to apply it to.
Yeah.
You know?
Ian, I'm curious, where in the world are you? Just kind of curious from asking that question, like how applicable is our advice to that? So
Exactly.
if you don't mind jumping in and responding to that, that's a great question.
Because when guys have reached out to me and that this is specifically what they want to do, I usually refer them to Troy.
Well, and what we have found, oh, he's in Boston. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Cold approach in Boston, yes.
Yeah, you could probably get away with it.
Absolutely. Well, and what we have run into also is men who maybe don't do as well online. You know, the online dating apps are less forgiving. Like, let's say height, let's say you're not all that photogenic or aren't that comfortable in the camera, because if they can't get by your pictures, they're not going to get in front of you. But it's much more forgiving in cold approach, whether it's day game, night game, whatever the case may be, because your charisma leads. You know, a lot gets picked up just in your charisma and your game coming through. And guys who are short, guys who aren't as attractive can close a lot better, I would say, in cold approach, in day game and night game than they could online.
None of it matters in person. And you may also want to apply some of these skills to like meetup groups.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things
Yes.
that a lot of these guys that meet a lot of women take their skills that they're developing and they apply it to, like, believe it or not, meetup groups. For some reason, it's one of those like singles groups that will have 1,000 members.
I love it.
And again, most, you know, you're going to stand out wherever you're at, just having these skills.
Yeah.
And knowing how to present yourself. And you'll literally, you know, your risk will be dying of exhaustion. You know,
it's a good problem to have.
But it's really being on the street. And I would probably get online and start searching hard if you haven't already. And I don't want to, like, you know, assume anything. But there's probably somebody doing it in Boston already.
Yeah.
You know, they probably
true.
know the best places already.
Get kind of a one-on-one, like, mentoring guy. Talk through the hot spots. And some of them may not want to share their most luck.
Yeah.
But clubs that are popular, you know, any of these popular walking spots, I would say any place that's more touristy is also going to be good, because vacationing girls love to have random dates, we shall say, out of their zip code.
And they, you know, they're in town, and Boston's a huge town for people to visit.
Yeah,
And
it's very popular.
even like in Dallas, there's a section of the Katy Trail that I've actually seen video of guys doing pickup on the Katy Trail.
Really?
It's probably the only place in Dallas that you could actually do that.
Wow.
So it's done. You just got to find the right hunting grounds. It's like
Yeah.
fishing. You know, you want to go to a place where the guys know, and generally, you know, they will work with you. You know, my guy in Austin, there's a group of 3 or 4 of them, and they exchange information. They meet up. They talk about what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
You know, you just accelerate that way.
Well, and I would say guys are more geared to sharing that kind of stuff. Girls are more like, well, I don't want anybody to know that secret.
Exactly.
I want to keep that close.
Yeah.
Guys are used to networking. You're used to business sharing and masterminds and things of that nature.
There's enough girls for everyone.
Yeah. And not everyone has the same type. I mean, you and your best friend, your types couldn't be more different.
Exactly.
You know, it's that, and that's just true all the way around. So thank you, Ian. I hope that we
Obviously, this is what cold approach teaches you. Not shy.
Yeah.
The first guy on there, first guy with a question.
Good point.
First mover, baby.
I love it. I love it. What's one of our questions that you kind of had lined out?
When should you when should you ask a girl out? I mean, just like, and again,
That's
like
a perfect follow-up to that.
when I tell you guys, like, we get basic questions. I always say, I mean, whether it be online or in person or texting, as soon as you can.
Yeah.
As soon as you kind of like intuition, it clicks, you go, oh, I'm clicking with this girl.
Yeah.
You need to, again, have a plan. You know, just have a place that you go to, and this will get easier as you do it. Just go, hey, I'm going to at 8 o'clock on Friday. You want to come with me?
Yeah.
You know, just throw it out there. Because guys go, I don't know if she likes me or not. Ask her out. I don't know if she has a boyfriend. Ask her out.
Yeah.
I think she likes me. Ask her out.
Exactly.
Just
It'll
because
answer your question.
it answers all the questions. 90% of the questions that you have will be answered simply, or I think I could, can I fuck this girl? The only way to find out is ask her out.
That's right.
And you'll know. You'll
That's
know real
right.
quick.
Exactly. That's pretty good. What, I saw a video just when we were working. Yes, I was on my phone during my breaks, but when we were working out before this, and it was a guy trying to run gym game, and he asked, she said no, or she said, I'm working. Then he asked her for the next night, I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm busy. And she was pretty short about it. It wasn't like, she wasn't saying, I can't that night. I wish I could.
They will tell you.
I have to work. Could you do Saturday night instead? Could you do Tuesday night instead? Could you do lunch on Wednesday? She wasn't doing any of that. And he just kept asking for another day. He was not reading the signs at all.
And that's why girls get tired of being approached.
Yeah.
Is you got to be savvy. You got to, you're going to get one of three answers. Yes, no, or no, but I can next week.
Yeah.
You're going to get an alternative time.
Exactly.
And I will also, just nuanced is they'll say no, but there'll be a pause and you can like offer a second time. If you think that because a lot of girls are, by her even offering you an alternative time is being forward for what a lot of women.
That's true.
Believe it or not, that's how like reserved they'll be. They're shy until they get to know you.
Yeah.
So, if you feel that if she says no twice, you're done.
Yeah.
You should just move on and you just leave the area. And
we've done a podcast on that too. Like, one no means ask again. Two no means no.
Yeah.
She's not going to, and some guys push it to 3. And I think that that's only fair if she's kind of being playful in her no. But even that, girls will play off playful so as not to come off as a bitch. So make no mistake, a lot of us just don't want to risk pissing you off and having you like spin off on us.
Yeah. I mean, you ask any girl, and she's had bad experiences where she's turned a guy down, he's kind of flipped out on her.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you, I didn't want to go anyway. Fuck you, you're ugly.
Exactly.
So they're trying to avoid that because they don't know you. They don't know the situation. And if you're in a social circle, they don't want to burn a bridge. Hell, they might want to come back later.
It's true. And again, I think you're really good at pointing this out. It also, timing is everything. You might ask, and literally 3 hours ago, her ex-boyfriend from like college or from last year reaches out. You don't know so don't flip out. Don't be angry. Just aloof indifference. And oftentimes she will actually rethink what her no.
But
a lot of times.
Again, the question like being when as soon as possible, because remember, what do we say? Attraction has
an expiration date.
They're only going to be interested in you for so long.
Yeah.
And then maybe the ex-boyfriend comes back up.
Yeah.
Anything. So remember, there's a timeline, and that's what a lot of guys miss. And then as soon as you realize attraction does have an expiration date, you'll be more apt to take action sooner, and you'll start going out with more girls.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. There'll be less like, I wonder what if. Just find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I love it.
What else do we got?
Have a drink.
I have. I'm already working my way through it.
I'm trying to get him drunk so I can take advantage of him later. You guys know how I roll.
And we're not big drinkers. I couldn't drink, and we'll convey that, like, because we're in fitness. You literally don't have time.
No, and you don't have time to have a hangover either.
No, that might be the most important thing. But that's one thing that we've really kind of like realized in the last couple of years is how much the general public drinks.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot.
Oh yeah.
But wherever you're at, we got any more questions?
Not right now, but we do right there.
When should you contact a girl after first time sex?
Oh, this is a good one for you.
This is what I suggest. Everybody, you always play it by ear.
Yeah.
Once you have more experience, your intuition, when you're on the ground. But I always tell guys, the earliest should be late the next day.
Yeah.
Ideally, give her a day to think about you.
Our imaginations can run wild in all the right ways
Exactly.
if you just give us a little bit of time.
So let's say you bang her on Sunday evening, let Monday go. She's probably busy as hell, doing whatever she's doing, and let her think about you, and then reach out to her on Tuesday. But no later than that. I always say that's the sweet spot.
Sorry, that got really
okay.
full.
That's okay. But again, what we're using is, girls need space.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, and I convey this, don't just start blowing up her phone. You're not her goddamn text buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give her some time, because girls start to become more attracted when they're thinking about you in your absence. It's not when you're all up their ass, So you make contact, you pull back, and you move, and ideally you're somewhere else with another girl.
Exactly.
Because that's how you don't worry about like being up her ass as you're busy with 2 or 3 other girls.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. But if you have to work the timing because you're not, or you're busy, or you work a lot, that's fine too. Just usually that sweet spot seems to be giving her a day. That way she knows you're not clingy and not going to like start stalking her.
Right.
Which are the bigger concerns. And you have other things going on, other women going on. They'll suspect that.
Yeah.
But again, none of this may be true, but it is in her imagination.
You can fake it till you make it a lot in game.
Exactly.
And it goes a long way.
The girls cannot read your mind. A lot of these guys think, oh, she's going to know. No, they don't know.
She's not going to know.
No, she's not even thinking about it.
Well, and make no mistake, game is learn charisma, fake it till you make it. Some people, females especially, like to say that you're being manipulative. They like to like accuse you of playing tricks. But in all honesty, the better your game, the happier the girls in front of you are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they can even know. Well, knowing you're a player and know that you're running game are two different things.
Yeah.
But these girls, and I've seen this just in the last week where these girls are like, I studied game, I was on the forums, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Game to a girl is like great big firm fake breasts to a man. You see them and you may even know they're bought, but it doesn't change your physical reaction.
Yeah.
And girls can know a guy is running game on them, but it doesn't stop it from working.
Right.
It's ridiculous. You have to look at it that way.
Right.
Because again, game is learned charisma. The charisma is real.
Yeah.
He just happened to learn it over time.
Which what are we really great at without having to take the steps to learn any other area of life? I think that's what's so remarkable to me is that it has a negative connotation to learn to be better at dating.
Well, girls don't want you to be good. They don't want to be fooled. If you're able to fool their beta radar with alpha characteristics, that it's on an evolutionary standpoint, it's bad for her. But it's great for you. It's good for her in the long run.
It is. It absolutely is.
Again, game, as you learn charisma, all of these skills, habits, tips, they become ingrained. It's who you become.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're acting. You do in the beginning. You fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But again, all these things, it's like, holy shit, this stuff really works.
This really works.
This really works.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think that one big factor and where girls feel a little bit tricked is when you use game, but then you only use it on the front end. Make no mistake, game alpha characteristics, leadership, all of these are important skills to ingrain. It's beyond picking her up the first time. Pick her up, but then keep utilizing. I would say 98% of pickup skills apply to keeping the relationship in good shape,
including marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Forever. I would say the only, to top of mind, the only kind of skill that we kind of talk about in pickup game relationships and dating and things of that nature that maybe don't apply long term as much is heavy dread. And I'm not saying that dread doesn't apply, but the negging, the dread, any of these kind of negative things, Fort Worth uses a great example. He says, you're panicked about what I'm about to say.
No, I'm like.
He's like, if your wife is 8 months pregnant and you've got a toddler already and you're like not answering your phone and not telling her where you're going to be or who you're going to be with, just to instill a little dread in her, that's probably a bad idea.
Right.
So there are some exceptions long term, but the fact that you still want to encourage other girls to flirt with you, this is a good thing. No matter how long you've been married, it's good for other women to find you desirable.
There's no downside to that.
No,
it keeps your skills sharp. It doesn't mean you have to go home with anybody, but just being social and being sociable goes a long way.
It does. It does.
It turns girls on.
It definitely does.
Yeah, it's straight. They'll tell you it doesn't. Don't you can ignore that.
Well, go ahead.
She's just mad at herself, maybe.
Oh, yeah. A lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
But everybody benefits.
There's a reason that men who go on business trips will more often than not have super hot sex the night before they leave, especially if they're like female peers, coworkers, fellow executives going on this same trip that the wife is a little bit insecure about to begin with. Yeah. She will fuck you sideways.
And if she's not, there might be something quite not.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's a good tell.
Yeah, you might want to be a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but dread does have its place.
Yeah, it does.
It's kept people together, and guys have actually instilled it in marriages that were on the brink of divorce.
Yeah, make no mistake, dread saves marriages.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for it. But again, like with any other skill, time and a place to apply.
Yeah.
And especially that it can be applied properly.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a question for us, we have one in waiting. But if you have a question for us, enter it in the chat box. Or if you would like to get on live with us on video, we have that option too. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to lose my shit if anybody actually joins in. I'm going to be so excited. But the StreamYard link to do that is the very first thing in the description box below this video. So follow that. It's like 2 steps. It's super simple. And what happens is you come into the green room of sorts. You come into the studio, and then at a time that is available to us, we'll let you in and you'll be live with us. So have fun with that. Okay. Let's see. Facts trump feelings 45. That motherfucker's not real. I don't know what that applies to, but
that's that girl that was on that plane.
Oh. Tripping. I get it. I just had that video enough times. That's pretty funny. Okay. So, Smindle, is it any surprise to you guys that Tiffany Gomez was in her late 30s and unmarried? My first impression when I saw the viral video is that she was probably unmarried, and I turned out to be right. Oh, that motherfucker's not real. Okay.
Yeah. What can I say? I don't have enough background on this girl, so I don't want to assume anything. She's in marketing. She lives in a $2 million house. I'm going to tell you something I would put money on. It's not her house.
Ooh.
I mean, we know, even marketing people do well, but a $2 million home is significant it's nothing in California, but in DFW, it's quite an investment.
Yeah.
You know,
she's a local girl, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So,
That's,
you know, $1 million home is a $10 million home in California,
yes.
New York, you know, so you just kind of have to compare apples to oranges. But that she's probably got a boyfriend or just somebody who takes care of her.
Yeah.
You know, and the pictures I did see, I didn't go too deep into it because I try to stay out of like getting too deep into the weeds.
Yeah.
But it was just, there's a contingent of girls that are what we call, what do we say? We did a video on it. They're about 38, but they're a nightmare.
Yes.
What do we call that?
Oh, something eight. Troublesome eight?
Troublesome eights. Yeah. They're attractive girls.
Yes. They're
in their late 30s. They may have had one divorce, or two divorces under the belts, but generally they're unmarried.
Yeah.
And so when you've got a girl unmarried without kids heading towards 40, there's reasons.
Yeah.
You know, so you can bet there, and a lot of guys, I mean, anybody that flies a lot, they're like, there's probably weed, there's probably pills, there's probably alcohol.
Yeah.
The things involved, you know, with this girl and her outburst. But she's probably a nightmare everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
This is not too like even keeled that this is something that happens at least once or twice a year somewhere under duress, you know.
My gosh. Can you imagine being her girlfriend?
Yeah, troublesome. I mean, she runs with a pack of girls that all they're all 7s, 8s. And in Dallas, that's, you know, as good as it gets, you know, pretty much. I mean, and they're all single and they hit the night spots in that area, in that mid North Dallas area.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have enough information on her, but it's not her house.
But I will say, like you said, no, it did not surprise me one bit that she was not married, no kids.
No.
Not married, no kids. It's like, oh, that is written all over that.
Yeah.
All over that.
That's all you need to, I mean, no, it doesn't surprise anyone.
Yeah. Let's see. He did a little follow-up. Let's see. So is the stress of possibly being a sugar baby getting to her? That's valid. Feels like she doesn't have any man in her life to knock it off with the booze and pills. You know, I would say to that end, girls get a little crazy when, and this is true for most women. There are very, 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 very few women that I've ever met in my life that genuinely didn't want kids, didn't have kids, and were healthy without them. But most girls, and we speak in broad generalizations,
we do.
Most girls, if they haven't gotten pregnant by a certain timeline that they feel is appropriate, that clock starts ticking, and it usually hits about 24 years old. So this girl's already 14 years late on this timeline that I'm talking about. And everything revolves around it, and everything makes you mad that you don't have it yet.
These girls truly go crazy.
It is crazy. And that's true whether they have a boyfriend, have a fiance, have a husband, or are just single.
Yeah. But not married. I mean, yes, there's probably not somebody telling her you can't act like this. So we saw that during COVID. Yeah. We saw a lot of single girls that lived by themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't have their dad. They didn't have like someone in their life to kind of like direct them or lead them.
Yeah. And
they just spun off.
Out of control.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of that's like there's no anchor.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of, I mean, as soon as girls start having kids, they're like, yeah, I can't do that. I have kids. Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of things. They're like, I don't want to embarrass my children, you know? So
I will say, you know, like what you were talking about with somebody's buying that house in Dallas, you know, even if there is a man in the picture, generally speaking, who's providing this in some way, shape, or form, or men who are providing this in some way, shape, or form, that doesn't mean he has me say so to speak.
Right.
There are plenty of men who are perfectly happy providing, and not really having that much control except maybe in the bedroom.
Yeah.
At whatever frequency.
Yeah, they're sleeping with her, but they've got a wife.
Yeah.
They're like, I've got a wife. I have enough problems as it is.
I have a wife. I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I'm full up
I'm
on
rolled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to take care of you, and let's do this.
I just want to fuck your brains
Yeah.
out. Have you suck my dick on demand?
Yeah, that's
but
it.
beyond that, they don't have any real control over.
Yeah. I think I saw you on the news, honey. You know.
God, if that was the case, that he distanced himself so fast.
Yeah.
He was
That's pretty
like,
funny.
if they're going to start digging into this woman.
Yeah. And then she did a good job of staying low for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, she
That
did.
way nobody finds out about her married boyfriend.
Yeah. And we're just making assumptions.
Assumptions, but
These are
they're
assumptions.
usually pretty accurate.
We aren't wrong often.
No. No, you don't.
Okay. We're getting all kinds of good questions. Thank you for the 4-parter, Nicholas. Okay, let me get there. Why am I doing this one left-handed? I'm not a left-handed individual. Let's see. Okay, so this is still about her. She has a company supposedly called Uppercut Marketing. Okay, next. Nicholas, what does the one, and this is long, so I'll just read it all and then we'll go from there. What does the woman who I had a situation / kinda serious relationship mean by these when she said things about her former male neighbor? I'm so glad you're here on January 5th. She also said to him that I'm just a friend from Minnesota. Oh, okay. She also said this about him. I already had a talk with him that we're not having sex.
Like she and the
Like
guy?
she and the neighbor. Like I already told him we're not having sex. That kind of thing.
Yeah, she's already had sex with him.
Before, especially. And then if I would fuck him every day, I wouldn't tell. Oh, if I would fuck him every day, I wouldn't tell you. I already had the talk with him that we're not having sex. Oh, I just read the same one twice. Sorry, guys. He was my neighbor, just a friend. He was protecting me from my ex-husband, and you have no standing to ask about him. Woo!
Rich Cooper, who definitely
He's pretty
has some flaws, as we all do, has a saying. He says, "No one has fucked more women than just a friend."
Yes, that's a great phrase.
Okay, so how do I gently, in a diplomatic manner, convey to you that there's a very high probability that she's had sex with this man?
Oh, I'm going to say it's 95%, at least in the past. At least that she has before.
You should assume that she has.
Yeah.
And then you decide what you want to do. If you're over 22, they've all had sex with somebody in the past.
Sure.
So you have to, balance your. Is she having sex with him now? I don't know. Those indicators aren't there. But proximity usually weighs into, options, into availability.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've got a 98% chance between Bunny and me, guessing with a
educated
guessing that, a lot of talking about some dude.
Yeah.
Next door.
Yeah. And next door.
Yeah.
Now, Nicholas, do you guys live together, or does she have her own place and you have your own place, and this is her neighbor? That's a question. 2, how long have they been neighbors? And how long have you guys been together? Because, I could see a situation where maybe he was away, but maybe it's his parents' house or something like that, to where he returned or something. Because it sounds like this is kind of like a new thing, or that you're the new one, which applies. So likelihood is, more likely than not, she has slept with him before and probably fucked him pretty consistently. She's not calling him an ex-boyfriend. So that means that maybe she would have been down for something more serious, but he didn't give it to her. But one way or the other, they railed, but they didn't necessarily consider themselves an item.
They weren't going out to dinner.
Yeah. He wasn't being seen with her. Now, there's a sexual chemistry there, or she would not have told him, and I'm not going to sleep with you. That kind of thing only happens when girls are attracted to the man in front of them. keep that in mind, everyone, no matter what your situation. Because if a girl uses that phrase, she will 9 times out of 10 fuck you after saying that.
Remember, girls talk in a code that kind of protects their reputation. That like, we're just friends. I met up with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to hang out with him.
He protected me from my ex-husband.
Yeah, all kinds of ways to like convey to you. And again, if you don't get it and then you figure it out later, their defense is, I told you.
Oh God. This was the worst possible answer you could have given, Nicholas. I'm sorry. Okay.
She doesn't hide her feelings very well.
I have no poker face. Long distance. She now lives with her friend Cindy. He was her neighbor until February. Okay. Huh.
Long distance is rough.
Yeah.
Long distance is rough. We don't recommend it.
Say more.
That's it. Long distance is a bad idea.
Okay. We're trying to tread lightly here, but we often say that long distance relationship is not a relationship unless there's a finite end to, like, a definite end date. So maybe you're deployed and you know that you're going to be out for 8 months, 9 months. Maybe she's traveling for work. She has to relocate for a finite amount of time. These kinds of things, when you're already in an established relationship and then you kind of have to go long distance, that's the only time that we really consider a long distance relationship a relationship. Long distance relationships in general are fraught with problems because when you're together, you're always in vacation mode. So you're not really, this is hot and sexy, but if you're trying to consider it a relationship, it's unlikely because you're only seeing the best side of each other and there's no reality there whatsoever. So what happens is people build amazing vacation relationships, long distance relationships, and then one of them moves across country to live with the other one, and the shit hits the fan.
Because it's just different.
Yeah.
Let me convey this because this is evolved over time. When is a long distance relationship beneficial to the man? When you're
1,000%.
running up a business, when you're trying to like launch, if you're trying to make your money, or you're in med school or law school. If you're in a heavy like master's program for 2 or 3 years, this is when it will benefit you to have somebody that can come in, you can fuck around, have fun, and then they get the fuck out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's 1,000% true. Do any of these cases apply to you, Nicholas?
If you're trying to get your money up, if you're like building a business, it's because you truly don't have time,
right,
or the brain power for working on a relationship. Because you see one of the biggest debates on Twitter sometimes is, should a guy be making his money in his 20s or focusing on chicks?
Yeah,
you can do both, but the first year or two, you really have to grind.
First year or two of business,
absolutely. First, you have to grind, and then maybe, really, the longer you can like grind hard. But if you have a long distance relationship, it's the best of both worlds, and it keeps you mentally sane. Yeah.
And I will say, my oldest son, is in a similar position to what he's talking about. He's in grad school. He's got on his plate to have a distraction up his ass all the time. But the girlfriend he has, long distance ish, they're just enough to kind of keep each other grounded and to have like someone to talk to without it being anything that will keep him from studying, will keep him from doing what he needs to do, will keep him from work, and vice versa, because she's also in this higher education echelon. They do not have time for like classic boyfriend girlfriend dating. So
perfect. There's
a time and a place for everything, and I think that's an important point.
Did he come back?
Ooh, not yet. Good. That's he just jumped off the bridge. Sorry, honey. No, that's a fair question. Just, I would say focus on, have you met the guy? You know, when you shake his hand, does he kind of have a smirk like as soon as you leave, he's railing her? I would say if he's gone, he's probably gone. I have real concerns about what, number one, your girlfriend telling this neighbor that you're just her friend from Minnesota. Like, why would she say that, number one? But more importantly, why would she tell you that she said that? My number one red flag in this entire conversation is that, because you may be investing more in this than she is. If she's even telling you that you're just a friend, that's a sign that she's kind of keeping options open and that she doesn't see you as anything more than that. And that is a real shame.
It's kind of disrespectful.
It's incredibly disrespectful for her to do that. If you're invested, that pretty much
And that's
sucks.
not unusual.
It's
Guys
not
tend to
unusual at all.
Overinvest, and girls are very casual and hands. I mean,
Men
are the
romantics.
man, especially with this long distance relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Because girls go, oh, he's never here. I have no idea what it's like living.
Yeah.
And guys are like, oh, I really like her, and I think it's going to work out. And,
Yeah.
Realistic.
Yeah. Well, because guys are used to dealing with other guys. What they say,
Yeah,
theoretically, what other men say
they mean
is true.
they mean it for good.
They mean it. They're backing it up.
Yeah.
You can shake hands on it or whatever. Girls, then you approach girls, and we don't always say what we mean. We don't always mean what we say or have any intention of being able to stick to something long term.
They mean what they say in the moment.
Okay, let's see. We last saw each other last week. The last week of December last year at her house in Tomball, Texas.
There you go.
Yeah. I would say, Nicholas, I would encourage you to date other women. You can still travel and enjoy time with her. There's no reason you have to be mutually exclusive just because, of circumstance. But if you have time and interest, I would say it does play the field a little bit, because this is what I love about dating multiple women at the same time in any respect, is then you can compare women in real time with what's really going on in your life and how you are. And then certain girls stand out to you. You may not be able to get this girl out of your head, or you may go out on the first date with the next girl and never think of this one again. I mean, it could be that clear cut.
And I would suggest, and these are just best practices,
Yeah.
have her come to you.
Yes.
It's always best to have like home field advantage.
Yes.
As opposed to you going to her neighborhood and her friends and her home.
1000%.
Have her come to you. And it's an investment of time and effort also.
Yeah.
If you're doing a long distance, it should be 50-50.
Yeah.
And that's where she should be coming to see you all the time. And never, ever, ever, ever relocate for a woman.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. That's a good
They can
rule.
They can move, or you can let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I hope that helps, Nicholas. We are loving the questions we're getting. If you have a question but don't necessarily want to come on video, we get it. Ask in the chat box. If you want to come by, ask a question, just say, hey, what's up? Just like show us the cool nightlife that you've got going on where you are. The link to the video, the in-person studio guest, is in the description box. It's the very first thing, so you can jump in and join us. We just got a question. Let's see. Dane, let's see. What are you up to, Dane? Is not having much of a dating or relationship history at my age, he's 33, a red flag? This is a great question. If so, what's the best way to handle it? That's a great question. We talk about this a lot, actually.
It's actually a very common question.
Yeah.
Because
good.
really smart guys, your intelligence can get in the way sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's
so you've
true.
got these guys like early late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of experience because they've been doing other things,
Building a business,
Yeah.
going to school,
I'll let you-
establishing their career.
I'll let you lead this one.
Well, okay, so 1000% no, it's not a red flag. You can fake this till you make it. And instead of just using that phrase over and over, we'll explain a little bit better. So what's great about being a man with not a lot of experience in relationship, dating, sex, any of that, is that if you educate yourself, it goes a long way in not looking lost when you're out there. You're better. Girls don't know. You build up your game, you build up your charisma, you build up your way around the female body, you build up, your dating system so that you don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel with every new girl that you talk to or date. It is not a red flag at all, as long as, number one, you don't tell them that you're not very experienced. And number two, you learn. You meet with coaches, you meet with consultants, you read the books, you do the study. For Worth, you might have not have caught this before. When he was first divorced back on the dating market, he spent 2 years every night reading and studying game and studying dating and attraction psychology and tactics so that he could get his feet back under him. And he was one of those who he started fucking girls at 15, and he was like a rocket out of the gate. But then he spent 12 years married, so he was kind of out of it for a little while. He was out of practice. He had to brush up on his skills. Make no mistake, he is a naturally charismatic guy from a naturally charismatic family. He had all the tools in his arsenal, and yet he still needed to study. A guy who does not have any as much natural skill, or just hasn't had as much opportunity.
Opportunity is a big one.
Opportunity huge to practice. Education goes a long way.
Perfect. Again, the key is you don't have to tell her. And if she does ask about your history, you just say, "Hey, I'm a gentleman. I don't kiss and tell."
That's perfect.
All you need.
Perfect.
And then move on. Let her imagination work to your advantage.
And that can work in so many different ways. If you said that to me, and if you say this to your girl or a girl out on a date, she's going to, number one, have confidence that she can be a little bit more relaxed and open with you because you're not going to kiss and tell. Also, like you just said, imagination works in your favor, because then she can imagine you being a real Casanova.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Girls like mystery. She doesn't need to know.
No.
Nope.
No.
Perfect.
Followed up. Very great question, Dane. And you are not alone, I assure you. Okay, so Nicholas says he tried the home court advantage. She agreed on May 14th to come visit me after no contact on June. But then I blew my contact. Then I blew by contacting her too much and reached out to her friends. I got too emotional. At that time, I was preparing to go on a trip to Italy during that time. Also, she owes me $340.
I don't think you're going to see her money.
You're not going to see your money. I think you need to let this one go.
I'd let this one go.
Yeah.
Consider it a lesson learned, and just put it in the back of your head.
Yeah.
And definitely be working on new leads.
Yeah.
You'll distract yourself with new girls.
It'll make you feel so much better.
1,000% better. Yeah,
So
this
much
thing's
better.
kind of like, our job is to be kind of like, we don't want to tear the Band-Aid off fast every time, but this thing's pretty dead in the water.
Yeah.
And any time or brain power that you're investing in this is kind of a waste at this point.
Well, and it's actually like, think of it like you're digging a ditch and you're just like burying yourself. You're giving this girl a lot of control. And that's the last thing in the world that we want to encourage you to do.
Yeah, there's a word called one-itis, where guys get really heavily, they think a girl can't be replaced. I don't think you're at that point. This is just a situation that you're like, how did this thing go south?
Yeah.
You know, and
How did this happen?
But it's dead.
Yeah.
And you need to, and that's okay. I mean, you're going to go through tens, hundreds, thousands of women in your lifetime. So, you know, you chalk it up to experience, and then in a year, it'll be a faint memory. Time takes care of so much of this stuff.
And make no mistake, Nicholas, she could still circle back, especially if you don't keep being emotional, don't reach out to her friends, don't ask her for the $340 that she owes you. Like, don't harp on all of this kind of negative stuff with her or anybody that she knows. You can vent to us about it. You can vent to your friends about it, but no one where she would find out. If she gets to a place where she goes, oh, I really fucked that up. He was actually a pretty good guy. I really enjoyed my time with him, or I should have not been so focused on Javier. I should have been focused on Nicholas at that time. But I was so distracted by, you know, the neighbor or whatever the case may be, whoever it is. It may not be the guy that you're all may not be the biggest problem. So just know that girls boomerang all the time.
The best revenge or best comeback is to live well.
Yeah.
You know, get to the point where $300 isn't a big deal, and you've got more girls than you can handle.
Yeah.
And this will be a faint memory.
Yeah. Exactly. I love it.
But we feel for you because we've all been there.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah. Make no mistake. Yeah, it's painful. And you invested 8-9 months into
Right.
Yeah, and you're not getting anything in return, so you just kind of like, oh, it's a bad investment. I got to go.
Yeah, exactly. If you have questions for us, check the chatter box. Also, if you want to get on video with an in-studio guest, you feel free to check that. Oh yeah. Nicholas is tall, and he prefers tall girls. Well, good news for you. Tall girls are lonely because nobody talks to them. So you've got your pick. That is awesome.
It's true.
If you want to jump in here live in studio with us on video, even just to show your life or to say, hey, what's up, or to have a drink with us, feel free. The link is the first in the description box below. What other question do we have, baby? Do you need a refill?
No, not yet. I'm pacing myself. Thank you. Talk to him for a second. Let's see what we got.
Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys for a second. I'm so glad that you guys joined us. I would love to hear where you caught wind of this. You know, it's a standard issue marketing question. It's like super boring and not as sexy. But I would love to know, do you guys follow us on Twitter or X? Do you guys follow us on YouTube? Like, where did you get clued in about tonight's show? Or did you just happen to like turn on YouTube, open YouTube, whatever, go to YouTube and go, oh, there are these people who are live right now.
These people talking about sex and pick up chicks. And
they seem to be drinking the alcohol.
yeah.
So I would love to know if you want to jump in and let us know.
So when we started doing the podcast, what, over 200 episodes ago?
Yeah. We're in the 220s.
I think it was the first podcast we did, was the number one mistake men make when texting.
Oh.
And this is like
good one.
5th or 6th most popular text. And we're going to like, you won't have to go there now, because the number one mistake men is double texting.
Yeah.
Is anytime you send a text, just leave it and let her respond. Nothing good can come out of you going, hey, did you get this?
Yeah.
Or hello?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nothing good. Even if you have to like never text again, just don't do it.
It's hard. I'm sure it's very difficult because men are action takers. You are action takers. If you do something and it's not reciprocated or not responded to or not even validated,
your default is to take action.
Yeah.
And don't.
Yeah.
Less is more when it comes to game. Less texting, less words, less talking, just less contact.
Yeah.
Again, you're letting their imagination work in your favor. And Coach Corey Wayne was who kind of like, that was the first time I ever, because he was like, Coach Corey Wayne's out of Orlando, and he used to do like an email thing every day. He'd be like, you read an email and then give the answer.
Yeah.
And it was really good. He's still out there. He's still cranking it out. But he had a very good one. It was like, so many guys default is to take action, do something. What can I do to get her interested in me? Well, you can't do anything. You can simply, make a couple moves and then see what happens after that.
It's true.
But again, he was the first to teach me that like girls have to have time and space to start liking you. It's when they're thinking about you and you're not present that they begin to become attracted to you. So give her the space to become attracted to you.
Yeah.
And I think even like one of his girlfriend's moms told him that.
Yes.
I mean, it was like,
that's a classic.
Yeah.
Tell that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was like dropping in and like calling and showing up. And finally the mom like pulled him aside and said, hey, this makes sense to you now, but you got to give her some time to think about you.
Yeah.
And then let her kind of like let it work in your favor.
It's
and he left it that.
Deal.
And then it works, and it does. Again, these game techniques, you go, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
When you test it, you go, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, that worked.
Yeah. There was like one time that me and a girl kind of like got sideways, and I knew she was like visiting a friend, like actually a girlfriend. And I said, okay, I'm not going to contact her again. I'll let her reach out to me. It was probably 10 or 14 days before she reached out to me. But after that, we never had any problems.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like I just kind of like waited.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And it was not easy.
No.
I mean, it's not but I was already deep into like running games. So I was pretty confident in my decision. But what really did surprise me how effective it was.
Yes.
Girls,
if you try to correct their bad behavior, they won't listen, especially if you're not fucking them yet. But they can be corrected in ways like that.
Yeah. Just you obviously, I mean, I'm sure it's on an unconscious level, you're fine without it.
Yeah.
And girls want that, believe it or not.
And again, like you said earlier, if you're running a couple of different girls, if you're dating, multiple women, or even just like chatting with them in the apps or whatnot and trying to pull them off there, then you're genuinely too busy and distracted to worry about if it's been 24 hours or if it's been 36 hours or if it's been 3 minutes. You don't notice.
Let's say you don't, though. Let's say you don't have a lot going on, but you're working on it. And Chateau was never shy about it. Be strategic about it.
Yeah.
Text at odd times. Give it some time to respond. And guys that run hard game know that like sometimes, if she doesn't respond within an hour, then when she does respond, make it 2 hours. I mean, it's silly stuff like that, but it actually works. I mean, it can get carried away.
Yeah.
And anybody can do anything extreme. But, vary your response times so it looks like you're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Very good advice. Very good advice. Well, hello, sir. How are you? I'm so glad you didn't miss it either. I know you probably don't have any questions, but I'm super excited to get your hot takes. I'm glad that you dropped in just to say, hey, if you feel like getting on video, the link is in the description box below.
3 easiest ways to improve your text game. This is, when I say text, I mean when you're chatting on Hinge, Tinder, even
social media.
Social media, DMs, text. 3 best ways to literally instantly improve your game. Less is more. We've already talked about that 4 or 5 times tonight. But again, less is more. Less contact. Don't get into a texting buddy relationship.
That's the easiest way to friend zone yourself.
You don't want to text women enough to get the logistics and get them out and see, because women have an advantage online. They're looking for a reason not to like you.
That's right.
So therefore, the longer you bullshit and talk to them on the phone or on text, the greater likelihood you'll say something stupid. every time.
Or
every
something
time.
that reminds them of an ex-boyfriend or blah, blah, blah.
Or they just don't like. So, and the second thing is that your power is offline. Men are more powerful and do better in person because you have charisma, you have presence.
Yeah.
Girls, it's funny because somebody was talking about girls get 1,000, 10,000 matches. So in your mind, they are like super confident. But you get a girl in person, they still have flaws.
Sure.
You know, and they still are self-conscious. There's something. I mean, a girl can be a 9 or a 10, but there's 1 or 2 things that she's not confident about, you know, in person.
And I would say the 9s and 10s are probably as insecure as the 5s and 6s. I think sometimes the 5s and 6s can be overly confident because they're so safe to flirt with.
They get a lot of guys talking to them, but once they've committed to seeing you, to meeting up with you, there's going to be self-doubt in their minds that they'll meet up to your standards.
Yeah.
You know, throw out no capitalization, no punctuation. You don't have to trust me on this. I mean, you just do it and you'll see better responses.
Yeah.
Because it's a lower, I know this sounds horrible, it's lower investment on your part.
Yeah.
And you can have grammatical errors. I mean, it doesn't matter.
No.
But the less you put into it or appear to put into
it.
So no punctuation. I wouldn't capitalize anything and just kick it out there and then let it set.
I love it.
You know, for some reason, again, this is probably the most feedback I get is the texting shit works.
Yeah.
You know, because it's easy to apply and the response is really good.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll be instantaneous response, recall. What would you say? Instantaneous return on your investment.
Absolutely.
And no emojis. No emojis.
Yeah.
Emojis are basically shorthand for emotional.
Yeah.
You know, and men are not emotional.
No.
Girls don't want to see emojis coming from guys.
No,
Ever.
we don't.
The guys that end up usually sending emojis usually have teenage daughters.
Yes.
Or they don't know any better.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it's your teenage daughter that's sending these things. So don't let that carry over to your regular texting. It should just be plain block letters, short. The more words he uses, the less you use. We call it the 2/3 rule.
Yeah.
The golden ratio. Let her say more, and it shows greater investment from her into you.
Yeah. And I would add, as far as texting goes and punctuation and capitalization and things, do not use all caps. Do not use all caps. I mean, consistently as all of your words all the time. You can use them to make a point, but do not all caps. However, you can get away with using all lowercase. It's a totally different vibe. All caps is overly aggressive. It's almost like you're yelling at us.
It is like that.
Yeah. And it's actually just because you're trying to like make it simple and not have to worry about this one step of I'm typing on a typewriter right now, apparently. But guys do it a lot for ease because it's one less step, but it actually is a huge turnoff for women.
It's hard to read. Yeah, small. Use lowercase all the time.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, you can use upper lowercase. You can use proper punctuation and things like that. But I'm saying if you're going to like play with this and like give a do not give a fuck attitude, don't go all caps, go all lowercase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I know it sounds stupid, but it works.
All right. Plenty of girls get tons of messages online. Let's see. Hold that thought. Plenty of girls get tons of messages online, but don't even seem to exist when they go out into real life. Absolutely. Lots of those messages are probably bots.
I don't know about it.
Well, I think this is along the lines of like a 4 online or a 9 online as a 4 in person. I think that's kind of what you're looking at with a lot of that. Cause you're right. I mean, girls inboxes of all kinds are blowing up all the time, unless she is truly like dead end in a relationship. She's got the kids. She's she's not posting like sexy selfies all the time. Like there are girls who men don't mess with unless they go through a divorce and then they come out of the woodwork. But it's not that like the happily married family mama is getting a bunch of sexy DMs or orbiters trying to get into her stuff all the time. But girls in general get, especially like mid-level girls, get tons of messages all the time and inflating that ego like crazy. So yes, online, they're confident, they think they're sexy, they're using 18 different filters, not to mention makeup, not to mention hair, not to mention the fact that it took them 120 pictures to have one to post. And it went through an editing process. Like this is normal behavior these days. Make no mistake. I'm not just talking about like the Kim Kardashians out there. I'm talking about like normal girls. So yes, like in person, she may be like a dog, but online, she looks hot. She's getting tons of messages. You know, her ego's getting puffed all over the place.
Perfect.
Yeah. We see it a lot. I mean, I think the most telling thing is, you know, Fort Worth is in his mid-50s now. Yeah. And then he has a stroke. But on Facebook, because Facebook's for old people, you know, on Facebook, he'll see like the girls that he went to high school with. And first of all, they're filtered to the hilt. Like it's to a laughable degree. And then if you open the comments, it's, oh my God, you're stunning. You haven't aged a bit. You look gorgeous. Oh my God, you look great. And we're like, that woman's built like a potato and she's got a face that looks like a 2D image. It's bizarre.
And she has a neck that looks like the top of a bag that's been like wrapped. And you're just like, but there's no discerning because most guys, they're not online.
Yeah.
They're just like on Facebook. That's a lot for them.
Yeah.
Or Instagram. You know, you just have to see the comments. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's funny because we were talking about this last night where it always kind of catches me off guard that men want like a lower social profile. Like they want a girl to have like less than 500 on Instagram or want her to turn it on private or because back in the day, your girls that were popular were high value.
Yeah.
But now guys are like, they don't want her to be popular. You know,
that's a good point.
It's a little weird. Now I know guys that actually do date the high-end Instagram.
Sure.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world. But when you're talking about like normal guys like in Fort Worth or Des Moines, you know, or Tulsa, they're like, I want her to have like no social media. Yeah. It's different. It's
true.
I guess it's just that pumping that ego.
I think that's the biggest factor is we're seeing the response and how it's completely fucking with girls' brains to have their so constantly and so consistently by social media presence that they're like, I don't want any part of that.
Exactly.
And I don't want to be the one taking all these pictures of her while we're traveling.
No.
For her to pump up her ego with other men.
That the guy's never in.
There's a lot of that.
Maybe that's part of it.
There's a lot.
It's interesting. It's like literally a 180 from the way it was.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, Nicholas, how do you respond? I don't know if y'all can hear the motorcycles outside. Sorry. How do you respond to breadcrumbs from exes, such as hope you're doing well. Just want to check in. And then CD Bear, sir, I'm jumped in and gave us some of your wisdom. Give her even less. She's baiting you to show her interest to feed her ego. So that kind of goes into what he was talking about earlier more so. But how do you respond to these breadcrumbs from when girls are trying to boomerang back, when girls are circling back? I mean, Fort Worth gets this even in his DMs, like from high school friends, from his friends through the years, from even female clients who are like prior clients from years ago or whatever. I mean, I don't think they do it as much now because we're very much together online. But girls used to circle back quite a bit and just kind of, and this is how we do it. This is how we kind of show our interest and make ourselves kind of available for you to ask us out.
Okay, so if you're single, if you're ready to mingle, you know.
Single and ready to mingle.
Immediately say, hey, why don't we meet up? Why don't you come over? I mean, if you got a girl circling back,
and catch up.
Let's get together. Let's get together. I mean, that's what you're not there to be a text buddy. You're not there to be your friend. It's like, we used to fuck. Let's start fucking again.
Yeah.
And, you know, depending on your feelings for the girl, again, you know, if it was not amicable, if she dumped you and then she circles back, you can bang her for a while. You just don't have to move it forward. She can be a fuck buddy. She can be a friend with benefits. And you never have to really discuss anything. After a while, she'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't want that role, she'll move on.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell guys are always like, never get back with the next. Sure. Well, that's like throwing pussy out in the garbage.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
But she doesn't get privileges.
No privileges. No. She's never going to be your girlfriend again. That's fine. But you can bring her back in and you can serve a purpose. And sometimes that's just what she needs.
Yeah.
Increase her dick count.
That's the biggest factor sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, she might not just want to increase her body count. And you're like what would you say? Like the stepping stone to the next boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that because as a player, you're kind of like have a unique role. You know, you're kind of like, what do they call it in cycling? The guys that are the domestiques, the guys that support everything else. You know, there's a role for you. So never take it personal. Just don't waste time. You're not there to be a text buddy.
No.
It's, hey, let's meet up.
Yeah.
And they go, no, you just let them go. You don't respond.
Exactly.
You go, okay, talk to you later.
Yeah.
And then you go. Seriously, it should be like 3 texts.
So she says, hey, how have you been? I was just checking. You literally say the best response I could get if I were saying that would be, are you in town? Let's meet at da-da-da's on Tuesday. Yeah. You know, and again, like he's saying, if she says, oh no, I was just checking in. Okay,
gotta go. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's very simple. But most of the time she is checking your pulse. Just like CD Bear says, they're temperature check-ins to see if you're still interested. Sometimes she just wants to know if you're still interested. She doesn't want to know if you're available. She just wants to know if she can still get a response.
Sure, but it's always.
But you don't feed it.
Hey, let's meet up.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't. Okay, talk to you later.
Or she's like, that would be great. I'd love to catch up.
Now you know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just put her into the system.
You put her into the system. Nicholas, have you checked out for Worth how to build your dating rotation or build your dating system? I think I feel like you could use both of those because you've got some needs that are very common and well addressed, and this would give you some systems. And I told myself I wasn't going to be like a salesperson today, but I do think that you would benefit from those.
Yeah, we have a couple of products that actually will lay out how to edit in depth and all the way from beginning to end.
Yeah.
How to solve this.
Yeah. Do you have a question? You sexy thing.
No emojis. Don't forget that, guys.
Why don't you let me refill your drink there, Hotshot?
How long are we going to run this show?
As long as we want.
I'm going to pace myself. There you go. How to run gym game.
Oh.
You're talking to a guy that's owned a couple gyms.
You've always been a workout guy.
Since 14. Gym since 40 years.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, and it's interesting because it's one of the first questions we ever got.
Yeah. It was.
It's not what you think it is. Gym game is not what you think it is. It's the long game.
It is.
Walk them through it. Are you talked out?
If you want to hit on a girl that you're seeing in the gym, you have to have a strategic, long-term goal. Otherwise, you will absolutely 1000% just run her off to the point where girls will just change gyms if they think that they're just going to get hit on.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yes, skimpy outfits. Yes, we're in there getting sweaty and hot. We look great. We're making sure that we look on point when we go to the gym. But if you genuinely have an interest in a girl or not just like practicing on everyone, which is also something we recommend, talk to everyone. Talk to every girl you see. But if you actually want to ask a girl out that you're seeing in the gym, you need to spend, I hate to say this, 3 to 6 weeks, depending on kind of your schedule and how frequently you actually bother or see each other, just becoming familiar. Just becoming familiar in the space so that you're safe. Also, talk to everyone. Talk to a lot of people. Don't just talk to her out of the blue. Even if you're familiar, if you are headphones on, head down, not talking to anybody for 6 weeks and she's watching this happen, and yet all of a sudden you start talking to her, that's going to run her off.
Gonna weird her out.
It's a weird vibe for anyone who's unfriendly in the gym. And this goes beyond gym etiquette. I mean, like, have good gym etiquette, first of all, so you don't piss everybody else off. But don't scare her off. Become like, we like to call it, like, become the mayor. Become the mayor of your favorite hot spots. Become the mayor of your gym. Become like who knows people. The guy who knows all the other guys. You're 6'4", tall, good looking. You've got everything going in your favor. Become like the guy in that gym that starts to know everybody. You don't have to make like a lot of annoying conversation with everybody. You don't have to like interrupt workouts. You don't have to interrupt your own workout. Just be friendly. Just be courteous. Use, and say hello to people.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's the long game. You have to like introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And just say hi daily.
Yeah.
And then just over time, you can ask her out.
The best way to do it is to start by working in on a set with her. Like if she's on a machine that you can possibly work into your workout after 3 to 6 weeks of becoming familiar. After 3 to 6 weeks of making casual, not intense eye contact, of being familiar, like waving across the gym, not speaking every single time. That gets annoying. But then, hey, are you almost done with that bench? Or, hey, can I work in with you on this machine? I just have a few sets, things like that, to where you just approach, but it has nothing to do with pickup. It has nothing to do with asking her out or being that guy.
If she's interested in you, she'll tend to put herself in your proximity.
Yeah.
To allow you a chance to take a shot at her.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much 90% of the time, especially if you said, hey, she's comfortable with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes a long way to have a long game approach to that. Now you said that you do a lot of in-person approaches rather than dating apps, Nicholas. So this is going to be a little bit of a stretch. Playing more of a long game is going to be difficult for you, but that also means that you're fearless and you're not intimidated by just kind of making friends with people. And make sure you're not only talking and saying hi and greeting and being courteous to other men. Talk to all the girls. Talk to everyone. Say hello to everyone.
It works.
Especially in the gym, because that makes you safe. And then whenever it comes your time to actually start communicating with her, it goes a long way.
Exactly. Again, it's kind of like Cheers. Like the old show. Everybody, hey Norm, everybody knows you. It makes you safe. In a positive manner.
In a great way.
As opposed to the weird guy with the towel on his head that never speaks to anybody.
Yeah.
That's not a good persona.
No,
So.
it doesn't work for gym game more often than not. And I mean, you're even a guy who married a girl you met at the gym.
Exactly. I'm
teaching you about gym game, but he's the one that actually did it.
If you watch at the end of the day, like pumping iron, like when Arnold would walk into the gym, it's like, hey, I've arrived. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's about them.
Yeah.
But mostly it was like the energy would pick
He
up.
had nicknames for people. He called people by name. He knew what was going on. Yeah. He bullshitted with them.
Yeah, he worked with like that, like how to pose. I mean,
yeah.
You just kind of have to imagine in your head larger than life sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes a long way. And you don't have to be like a clown. You don't have to be a character.
No.
But just you have to kind of like put yourself out there just a little bit, which is more than most people do.
Yeah.
Because most dudes, I mean, I've lost track of the number of times I'm shutting the gym down on a Friday, and there's good-looking, educated, well-earning men that are in good shape, but they're just shy.
Yeah.
So they never actually go out.
Yeah.
You know, so
you're not shy, Nicholas, because if you're doing cold approach stuff,
you're good.
You're good.
Yeah.
So utilize those skills. Be a networker. Be a greeter. Be the town mayor. Whatever you want to call it. However you want to consider it. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got a new person. Hello, George or Jorge. Let's see. How to get back into the dating scene after a multi-year break, and work on strengthening that game muscle memory. You know all about this.
So you start getting those pictures up, start getting on the apps, because people bitch about and complain, but it's a clearinghouse.
Yeah.
It's the fastest way to start doing numbers.
Yeah.
You're going to get better at texting. You're going to get better at asking girls out. You're going to get better at meeting up with chicks.
Yes.
You're going to get better at getting them an Uber on their way home. I mean, that's it. I mean, you're looking at volume.
Yeah.
And while you're learning with the girls that you're meeting up on a regular basis from online, you can also apply it to work game, your gym game, your walking down the street game. Just start saying hi. The first thing is just start saying hi to every attractive girl you see.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, just start practicing through. Hey, how's it going?
Exactly.
How's it going? It's simple steps, but it starts to snowball. Mm-hmm. And guys go, oh, online it doesn't work. It didn't work for them. And their pictures were shit. And that's why, that basically sums it up. So get good pictures. And again, we weren't going to sell that much, but Bunny has an online dating handbook that works. I mean, again, shorten your lead time, shorten your learning curve.
Yeah.
Simply go to the source of information, and it goes A, B, C. You do A, B, C. You jump to the head of the line because you've got some set. You know what doesn't work.
Yeah.
90% of getting back into the game is not doing things that don't work.
Exactly.
And I'm going to tell you, like, we always get guys that are like been married for 20 years jumping in, and talking about picking up chicks. And I'm like, it's changed, so you need to brush up on your skills. But most of all, it's just getting that. Hey, how's it going? Hi, how are you doing? Just getting that socialization back. And then your brain starts picking up speed. Well,
and I would say, it's definitely a punch to the gut to go through a breakup, no matter what the reason. It doesn't have to be your fault, doesn't have to be her fault, doesn't have to be mutual. Breakups suck. They just suck. And they're, you've been out of the game. Your confidence is generally down at least a few notches, if not more. You don't want to put yourself back out there, but you want to put yourself back out there. It's kind of like I said, it's just a punch to the gut. So the more of this kind of stuff that you can utilize, just to like hit the ground running as hard as you can, goes a long way in getting, like you said, getting that game muscle memory back.
You want to start getting repetitions in. It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan.
And he uses muscle memory stuff, so he he gets exactly.
Again, you want to get in a bunch of repetitions as fast as possible, because you'll get better. It's like throwing a baseball over and over and over and over. so it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
And the number one thing, and I think this is for men coming out of long-term relationships, is the girls that are going to sit down in front of you are completely different than the girl you were with.
Right.
I think there's something in our brain that we start thinking everybody is like the girl that we were just with.
Right. It's true.
They are not. It's completely wide open.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees. There's no consistency. You have to become adaptable to whatever's in front of you. And she's not anything like the girl you were dating.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I don't like to use necessarily this kind of example, but I'm going to because I think it fits perfectly with what we're talking about. So the first woman that I think the only, but the first woman that my ex-husband dated after we split up could not have been more different from me. And he would actually, because we have children together, like we can't hate each other and not ever speak. So at the time, we talked about this. He would kind of talk about it with me. She was a drunk. She was highly emotional, all kinds of things that were the complete different aspect from me, like the polar opposite. But he went into it thinking, I'm getting another her in a lot of ways. He's used to me, for 16 years, he's used to me.
Yeah.
So it is tricky.
Again, and like Bunny, like there's no mood up and down, which, is very unique for a female.
Yeah.
Most are like a shit show on an hourly. I don't know how she's going to act this morning. I
don't know what I'm going to wake up to.
Yeah, exactly. They're monsters. So there's a difference. So
they're monsters.
Yeah. Even like her, she had to warn her son, when he started dating, girls are going to be kind of like emotional roller coasters. They're not like what you're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to know. Repetitions, man. And basics, just get your basic training.
Huge.
Yeah, get out there and get in front of a lot of people.
How about one more question?
Okay, let's do it. Oh, are there any available?
Not right now.
Okay. Let's see.
If you have a question, you better hurry because he's going to cut this thing off. And I can go all night.
Why men should date younger women.
Oh, this is great. This is great. You're welcome, Jorge. You're welcome.
I wonder how old our average guy is out there. So usually we say starting at about and you're shooting for teenagers.
I would say at 30, it's more like 5 to 8.
5 to 8.
And then 40,
35.
it's up to 10. It's kind of like it's a sliding
As
scale.
you go older, let's say a 60-year-old, a 40-year-old will work just fine.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. And this happens at about 38, 39, 40 and up.
For men or women?
Men.
Okay.
For men.
Okay.
Guys that when they get divorced, they reach out to us. They're like, what's the first thing I need to know?
Yeah.
I just is do not date women your own age. Or as women would go, I want to date a guy who's age appropriate.
Yeah.
Meaning a guy that's 2 years older than her. You know? Well, here's the deal. When let's say you're 45, you start dating girls 43, 44, 45. They're hostile. They see you as a peer, and it will be a struggle because you remind them of their ex-husband, the bosses that have fucked them over, the guys that have come and gone, the guys that have pumped and dumped them. And so everybody that they went to high every person that has ever done them, every man that's ever done them wrong, you remind them of that person. And she might begrudgingly let you have a pass. So you don't have to deal with that if you date a girl who's 35 or 33.
It's true.
You kind of have a authority figure. There's a difference, a big enough difference in age that she doesn't see. She might see you as one of her bosses that you used to work for, which you used to work for, and it was great. But you're not going to remind her of all the guys her own age that have been a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And this is what I say, because guys go, oh, it's never going to work. The girls don't. That's false. Girls really don't like older men. 20% will not date an older man.
Yeah.
Will not. 20% prefer to date older men. This is one. And they know. They don't even bother with guys their own age.
They have a type.
And then 60% are open to suggestion.
Yeah.
Circumstances, environment, well, their friends find out. Are you the right guy at the right time? Did they just come out of a breakup and they're like, you know what? I'm not going to date anybody that's suitable for marriage. So they date a guy 20 years older.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, great. It's what I need for a while.
Yeah.
And it is for a while, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's funny because the number one place where this is really New York City.
Yeah.
We know enough
Oh,
guys
yeah.
that are in their 40s, 50s, and early 60s dating girls that are in their early 20s, early to mid 20s. And it's nothing.
Nothing.
They think nothing of it.
No, it's expected.
Yeah, exactly. And it's probably the easiest place to do it.
Yeah.
You know, per se, like as far as you're not going to get any pushback or kickback.
Right. No.
It's considered normal. So you should not be dating, you know, if you prefer to make it easier on yourself. Because the younger they are, the less head trash, the less trauma, the less problems. You're just going to have a better experience. So that's why you should date, or at least try,
Yeah.
younger women.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I have two extremes to talk about. We have a client, a female personal training client, 65 years old. She wanted a boyfriend. But she literally just like did not want to pursue it. She was kind of in that like kind of bitch mode. And she owns this. I would say this to her face. I adore this woman. And we told her over and again, you need to be dating someone in the, like 75, 80, somewhere. I don't want to date an old man, she'd say. I don't want to, he'd have to land in my lap. Oh, she is now, after 2 months of dating, now, I mean, it's been more than that now, but after 2 months of dating, they got married. She's never been happier. She gets to be, at 65 years old, she gets to be eye candy. She gets to be like, you know, the trophy wife of an 80-year-old man. He still gets it up. They have a great sex life. He's active and vigorous. Like, they have a great life. This has only been a year.
And don't let the numbers fool you.
Yeah.
We say he's 80. She can be 25 and he can be 40.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Girls will be like 25. They're like, I don't want to marry any of these dickheads.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't want to deal with it. And this 40-year-old guy comes along and she's gone.
Charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his
Has
shit together.
He has a house. He may have already had a couple of kids, which is great because all girls, like almost all girls, are going to be pretty excited about having a built-in family because we get so excited about starting our family.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives us a leg up. But the other extreme I would say is if you are, I'm going to say middle-aged or younger, dating younger will actually get you a better wife, a better, like, bit more energy raising kids. There's no downside. You being a little bit older is actually beneficial in all of the parenting and like next kind of step stuff that you inevitably have to think about whenever you're dating someone and it's starting to get a little bit more serious.
And again, remember, most girls have they're like, older, you mean like 5 years? I date, you know.
Yeah.
No, it starts at 10 years.
I would say
10 years.
5 years is the spread to the male or 25.
Yeah. But again, if you're 35, 10 years spread.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's awesome. Awesome.
This is it for the Ask Us AUA.
AUA, baby.
We hope you've enjoyed it.
AUA over drinks.
We've enjoyed it
Yeah.
a lot. And we've gone to like an hour and a half, which is 30 minutes longer than I thought we would. But we hope you've enjoyed it. And hopefully when we do this, we're looking to do this once a month or so. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody gets in on video at some point
It makes my
and
day.
has a conversation. We might have to pay somebody.
You may have
Jump
to.
in.
You may have to. You'll be like, listen, my Playboys Bunny is
She's really good.
aching.
But we do appreciate you being here. We know your time is valuable. And we appreciate you guys viewing.
Yeah.
and ask
So
these
much.
questions. We hope we provided you some value. We really enjoyed it.
Best time ever. Also, if anybody is up tomorrow in 11 and a half hours, we're going to have the Bunny Show live where I'm going to talk some more. I hope I have a voice.
Should be all right.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this and everything. Thank you for opening our emails. One of you said that you came to this show because you follow us on Twitter and you're on our email list. That's awesome. We love to hear that. Thank you so much. Thank you for opening the email. Thank you for following the links. Oh,
That's it, baby. Love now.
that's it. I have to make that annoying noise every single time.
Every time.